let's talk about my February TBR. Welcome to this house of books. My name is Ashley, and I love to talk about books. So, I'm like always, this is my setup now. I wish I could be in front of my bookcases more, but they're in our main living space, and my kids are, finishing up their homeschool lessons for today. I had a couple minutes, so I am hiding away trying to film this. I actually also just filmed a homeschooling video, and it is also dealing with books. It's similar to a previous video that I just posted about books that I have pulled off of my shelves for hope and inspiration and female rage. And so I have pulled off middle grade to just YA books that I encourage to read with your kids. Because there are good messages to be had in them. On that note, let's talk about my TBR. Woo! I've got a TBR. It's big. We will see. All right, so as I'm filming this, we have like 4 or 5 days left in the month. I am currently reading Onyx Storm. I am hoping to finish it tonight or tomorrow at the very latest. I have, I think, 150 pages left. I really pushed through. I could finish it tonight. And, it would probably do me good to take more time off of social media. So I'm going to try to make it a goal to finish tonight. I do have 2 books on my TBR from January that I have not finished yet. So I have True Biz by Sarah Novick. This is my buzzword pick. It had to have truth or lies, and so it has true. I have barely started it, and that is just, I have not devoted time to reading it. So I am going to be picking this up and finishing it definitely before the end of the month. This is my main goal. Once I finish Onyx Storm, it's going to be this. I did put in a hold on Libby, but there's one person ahead of me, so I don't know if it will come in time. Okay, here's Charlie. You can see his tail. It's almost feeding time at the zoo, so he's a little needy and hungry right now. Anyways, this is going to be done by the end of the month. That is my goal. One book that will probably not get done by the end of the month. It is from my self-destruct pile. I will link that video down below, but it is the Atlas 6 by Olive E. Blake. I just didn't have time. It was on my TBR, and my TBR was doable, but I had a carryover at the beginning of the month that I didn't finish in December. And then I also, I kicked this book out because I was reading Onyx Storm. So I want to read it. It is on my self-destruct. If I don't finish these books by the end of the year, they have to leave my house. I have figured that if I don't get to the self-destruct books every month, they get carried into the next month. And so that just adds to my TBR pile, which will encourage me to hopefully pick them up. I am having a really hard time finding audio of it, because that is just where my brain is right now. So if I can't find audio, I really don't want to use like an Audible credit or anything. I might just have to put my eyeballs to the page and see if this book is for me or not. Let's talk about book clubs. If you have seen any of my TBR videos before, you know that I am a part of 2 in-person book clubs. So one of them, we are going to be reading Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. I've had this on my shelf for a while. It was actually my month to bring suggested books to read, and this is what we all voted on. A deeply suspenseful and heartrending novel about the unbreakable love between a mother and child in a society consumed by fear. Oh, that's right. They are Chinese American, and they have to live their lives governed by laws written to preserve American culture in the wake of years of economic instability and violence. So I am really excited to pick this one up and read it. I'm going to try to put them behind me here. This one is definitely going on here. I am not putting True Biz because it's going to get finished. But it's the one by Celeste Ng. This one, I am probably just going to like skim through, so it's not officially on my TBR, but it is for my other in-person book club. We are going to be reading The Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali. I read this, I don't know, sometime at the end of last year and loved it. I actually, for Christmas, sent a copy of it to my aunt, and she just finished it and really enjoyed it. I think that my book club is enjoying it, those who have picked it up so far. I just don't have time to reread it, and I'm not the biggest rereader of books. I've talked about this book before also. Just to kind of sum it up, you are following two young girls as they are growing up in Tehran, and kind of through their teenage years and into young adult as things are changing within their family and the government. Yeah, like it's not officially on my TBR, but it is. Yeah, I'm gonna stand it up. That's kind of what I've been doing as I was compiling this whole list. Now, other books that I need to read. So, the buzzword, let me just make sure I get the words right, are water words. I am not doing the like separate cover one. I am just doing the buzzword. And so water words. I'm going to read Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. Shark. You know what? I'm going to take it as a water word. This is what I want to read. So I have heard that this is lyrical and kind of weird. And, you know, those kind of books are hit or miss. Usually they're pretty good. Gorgeous debut novel of marriage, motherhood, metamorphosis, and letting go. This intergenerational love story begins with newlyweds Ren and her husband Louis, a man who over the course of 9 months transforms into a great white shark. So, I have heard you basically either love it or hate it. But it intrigues me, and I want to read it. Oh wow, this will be a really fast read. Like there's a lot of pages like that. I love that because it'll make me feel like I am reading it really fast. Then I have spoken about it a lot, but I am doing the catch-up book club with Becca and the Books. And so we are reading The Faithful and the Fallen series. So I will be reading Valor by John Gwynne. The next YouTube live show is at the beginning of March, I believe. So it will set me up. I enjoyed the first one. I will talk about it in my January wrap-up, and I have bought the rest of the whole series. They are dense books. For at least half of the first one, I was listening to it on audio with the book open in front of me, because there is such a cast of characters and locations and things going on, but I did really enjoy it. So I'm excited to get back into it and read book 2. And then a short little book, bent corner there. So this is for our book club. She is a homeschooling mom and creates some amazing curriculum that we use here in our homeschool. She also does a monthly book club. So we are going to be reading I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I'm really excited to pick this one up. I have heard about it a lot. But deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage, watched over by guards. The women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives before. I don't know if it's lyrical as much as, like, it'll stick with you. And it's only 164 pages. Okay. All right. So this gives me essentially 5 books to read, 1 to like skim through and summarize. Did I put 10 books on my TBR? Yikes. For a short month, I picked a lot of books. All right. Well, these are the ones that I do need to read. Let's get into some fun books. I am trying to get through some of my winter TBR. I have not decided if I'm going to do a spring TBR. It just kind of ends up stressing me out because I'm not getting to all the books that I have picked off my shelves. So I don't know that I'm going to do a seasonal TBR anymore. But these two are on the winter one, and I would like to get to them. So I have The Legendary Inga by Kate Stradling. This has been on TBRs of mine before. Norse fantasy where Ingrid treks into the woods and emerges a monster slayer. And then, of course, the king is very interested in adopting her for whatever reason. Oh, to name her as his heir. So, I definitely want to read this. Then I have Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. This I've had for a long time now, and I really want to read it. It is set in the winter, so this would be a good one. 3 girls are missing, 1 is returned, a story begins. Let's see, a glorious tapestry of a book that combines folklore and science, magic and myth. Suspenseful, romantic, and richly atmospheric, this novel will sweep you away in a powerful current of storytelling, transporting you through worlds both real and imagined. That sounds really cool. Okay. All right. And then, it's going to be February. Let's bring a little romance, romantasy, paranormal romance kind of stuff into the mix. So, first one that I have is Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. This is an Aardvark book club pick, and it is a paranormal romance. All right, a woman discovers that not all monsters are her enemy. The opposite, in fact. So I am excited to pick this one up and check it out. And then the next 2 are very popular romantasy books that have made it onto my shelves, and I'm gonna check them out. So first is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I talked about this in my recent book haul video. I hate the cover, but I am intrigued about the storyline. So don't touch the sword, don't turn the key, don't open the gate. And I believe it kind of deals with like death, opening a gateway between realms. It's a chunk, and I do have Valor, which is a big book too, but I'm hoping that this one is not as dense. Man, it kind of really ends like there's nothing at the end. There's no like dedication pages. Is that right? I guess so. Yeah, 600 pages. So I think it would be fun though. I had to pause for a second, but my last book on my TBR, other than I just realized I need to pull a self-destruct book, so that'll be interesting. I clearly have no control. Like, that is a ridiculous TBR to have for the shortest month of the year, but that's what it's going to be. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. I believe this is called like the Moth Queen or something like that in England. I don't know why it has a different name here. I hate when they do that. But enemies to lovers doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love. So that sounds great. I do believe that book 2 is coming out in February, I believe. I haven't been totally paying attention to that because I haven't read the first one yet. But I would like to. It's YA. It's like a small book. We'll see. Let me just add it to this ridiculous stack of books. Holy crap. Well, may as well add one more. See, that's what's going to make me do my self-destruct books, because that actually gave me an extra book. But if I had read it in the month it was supposed to. Alright, let's pick one. This one. Okay, the most fun we ever had. Let me go grab it. Well, just to add to that stack, I just picked my biggest book on my self-destruct pile. So this is The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. I have had this since 2021. That is the year that I really started reading, and so one of my first book hauls that I got, it was from Thrift Books. This was actually from a library in Fort Vancouver Regional Library. So it's time to read it. I know it's a family drama, which I enjoy. So it's about a young couple in the 1970s who fall in love. By 2016, their 4 radically different daughters are each in a state of unrest. So spanning nearly half a century and set against the quintessential American backdrop of Chicago and its prospering suburbs. Well, let's just add it. This is so bad. I'm just gonna balance it on the top. Well, there we go. 11 books in the shortest month of the year. And my average is about 8 books a month. Well, you know, like some of them do need to be read for certain things. And then like this whole stack here is just because I want to read those books. So that's all right. You know what? I love having a whole selection of books to pick from. On that note, thank you so much for watching. If you like this or anything else that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.